So you've written a book and you want to start selling it through the world's largest book retailer. Well, congratulations, you found the right video, because today I'm going to show you. Hi, I'm Martin from Reedsy, and today I'm going to show you how to publish your book through Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing, or KDP for short. And I want to be upfront with you about this thing. It's not a complicated process. Amazon has made it genuinely accessible. If you wanted to, you can upload a book and get it ready to publish in just under an hour. But accessible is not the same thing as straightforward. There are a handful of decisions you'll have to make within the KDP dashboard, things that may seem like basic checkboxes, but will have big implications when it comes to your royalties, your discoverability, and how much control you retain over your own work. A lot of KDP guides will skip over this, but we're not going to do that. I'm going to walk you through every step, and every time we encounter one of these consequential decisions, we'll stop and talk about it for a little bit. Alright, let's go. First things first, head to kdp.amazon.com. If you have an Amazon account already, you'll want to log in using that. Do not create a new account if you already have one. Amazon is very strict about it. One account per person. If you create a second one, there's a good chance that both of them will be flagged. Once you're in, Amazon will ask you to complete your account details before you can publish anything. This means adding your address and your name as it appears on your government ID, your bank account details, and your tax information. The tax section catches a lot of people off guard, especially non-US authors. You'll either need to enter a US tax identification number or an equivalent from your own country. If you're a UK author like myself, that's your national insurance number or a unique taxpayer reference. If your country doesn't issue a recognized tax identification number, you can apply for a US one through the IRS website. I'll drop a link to that in the video description. It's a little bit of admin, it's a small hassle, but once you do it, that's it. You'll never have to worry about it again. From your bookshelf, click Create a New Title and then Kindle eBook. For this part, we're just going to be talking about publishing an ebook. That's where a lot of the big decisions will have to be made. A little bit later, I'll show you what's involved in selling a paperback. For this video, I'm going to use my book Rocket Bride as an example. It's not something I've actually written yet. I may get onto that at some point later this year. So for this, you'll land on a details page with fields for your language, the title, the series information if you're writing a series, the author name if you want to use a pen name, this is where you enter it, as well as any other contributors that you want to credit in your book, for example, an illustrator or a co-author. Now, the book description. Amazon calls it a description, but what it really is your sales pitch. It's best not to think of this as a synopsis or a summary. It's the thing that will make people decide whether or not they're going to click purchase on your book. Amazon only shows a preview of your description before the reader has to click read more, which means that you have to make sure that the first few lines are absolutely compelling. Lead with something that creates a question in your reader's mind or state a claim that they really can't ignore. You want to front load the intrigue of your book, whether you're writing fiction or non-fiction. Don't forget that you can also format bits of this, so it's fairly popular for the first line, that hook of your book, to be put here in bold. Now there's a link in the description to Reedsy's free book description template. It's something that's genuinely useful if you want a structural framework for all of this. It's worth grabbing and it's free. After the description, you'll declare copyright ownership and flag any age-appropriate content concerns. My book isn't saucy, so I'll click this one here. Then, you'll select your primary marketplace. This is the territory where you believe your main market is. If you're in doubt, then Amazon.com, the US one, is a good default. And now, let's move on to the part that most first-time authors genuinely underestimate. Categories and keywords on Amazon is a really deep topic and something that I will go on to create a video about really soon, I promise. But if you're looking to dive deeper into it right now, I suggest you download Reedsy's book, How to Market a Book. It's a free title and it contains a section that really goes into how you can choose your categories and keywords. You can choose 3 categories and up to 7 keywords for your book, and those 2 things will collectively determine who sees your book in the first place. Let's start with categories. The logic is simple. You want categories that are relevant to your book and popular enough to have traffic, but not so competitive that your book will disappear onto the 27th page of that. There's lots in the book about this, but the short version is that you should look at your comp titles. Those are your comparable titles, your comparison titles, the books out there that are doing well that are kind of like yours, and see what categories they've chosen. For my one, I'll put them under science fiction and space opera, and I'll also look to put it here in romance and and the science fiction subset of that. Now, keywords work differently. You're not just labeling your book, you're targeting phrases that readers might type into the Amazon search bar when they're looking for books like yours. Amazon has a fairly sophisticated keyword system. The 7 fields you can fill in aren't 7 independent slots. They're more like a tag cloud that Amazon can pull from and mix and match. So rather than 7 generic words, you want to think in phrases, multi-word search terms that describe your book's specific flavor. And one more thing before we move on, Amazon gives you the option to set your book for pre-order rather than immediate sale. If you have any kind of platform, let's say a newsletter, a social media following, anything like that, a pre-order can be worth using. Pre-order sales will count towards your launch day's sales figures. In turn, this affects your Amazon bestseller rank out of the gate, and a strong early rank creates more visibility, which creates more sales, and it starts accumulating and compounding. Okay, now with that out of the way, let's get your book loaded. Amazon accepts a range of formats, but they recommend EPUB, and so do we. Uploading a Word document and trusting Amazon's converter to handle the formatting is technically possible, but we wouldn't necessarily recommend it. If you want to have the control of putting out a properly formatted ebook, you use EPUB. And you can use Reedsy Studio to export a clean professional EPUB file for free. If you haven't checked it out already, it's worth doing so. You can upload your manuscript in the form of a Word doc, do a little bit of tinkering, and export the EPUB file within just a few minutes. Once you upload, Amazon will take a minute to verify the file. Don't refresh the page at this point, don't navigate back, just wait for the green tick. There's a checkbox during this process that asks if you want to apply for digital rights management, that's DRM. The idea is that DRM prevents readers from copying or sharing your book and is meant to be an anti-piracy measure. What DRM does reliably do is make it harder for legitimate readers to do the things that they want to do, including copying it to a different device that they own. Most self-publishing authors that we trust on this topic recommend leaving DRM off, and so for this, we suggest you do as well. After the manuscript, you'll want to upload your cover. Now, your cover file should be a JPEG or a TIFF that's 2560 pixels by 1600 pixels. We don't have the time today to do a deep dive into cover design. I will say this. Your cover needs to work as a thumbnail. When it appears on Amazon's search results page, it's going to be roughly the size of a postage stamp, even less if you're on a phone. If your title isn't readable at that size, and if the genre isn't immediately legible at a first glance, then you're going to be losing sales even before anyone's clicked through. Amazon has a cover creator tool that some authors use, but if you're serious about making your book pop and stand out from the crowd, then you should be looking to get a professionally designed cover. Thankfully, Reedsy is home to hundreds of experienced cover designers, so you can find someone with a track record in your genre, and if you're lucky, you can find someone who's designed the cover for your favorite book. Finally, if you have your own ISBN, this is where you'll enter it. If you don't, Amazon will assign you one for free. The catch is that Amazon's free ISBN registers Amazon as the publisher of record. This can complicate things if you ever want to distribute your book through other retailers. If you're serious about self-publishing as a long-term project, then buying your own ISBN is really worth the investment. In the US, you can buy a single ISBN for $125. In the UK, they're £89, and if you're somewhere like Canada, you can even get one for free. If you're still here, consider hitting like and smashing the subscribe button for more of this stuff. Okay, at the top of this next tab, Amazon asks you whether you want to enroll in KDP Select. Now, this is the decision that I want you to go into with your eyes wide open. Now, here's the deal. KDP Select is a program that you can enroll in that gives Amazon exclusive rights to your ebooks for a renewable 90-day period. For those 90 days, you cannot sell your ebook anywhere else, but in exchange, you'll get access to Kindle Unlimited, or KU for folks in the know. This is effectively a subscription library like a Netflix for books, where readers can pay a monthly fee and read as many of the books as they like. When a KU reader reads your book, you get paid out based on the number of pages that they've read. For some authors, this is a fantastic arrangement. Kindle Unlimited has a massive enthusiastic readership. This is particularly true in romance, fantasy, and thriller. If your genre has a strong KU audience, then being in that ecosystem can meaningfully accelerate your reach. For others, exclusivity may come at quite a cost. If you want to sell your book on Apple Books, Kobo, or Barnes & Noble, or through your own website, you can't, not when you're enrolled in KDP Select. For that 90-day period, your ass belongs to Amazon. Then there are also genre-specific considerations. Non-fiction tends to underperform on KU. Readers will borrow, skim the first few chapters, feel satisfied that they've got everything out of it, and put it down. You get paid per page read, so a borrow that results in 10 pages being read isn't really worth that much. Short books face the same problem. A 100-page novella at the KU per page rate earns you less royalties than a single sale at $2.99, for example. So here's our honest take. If you're writing genre fiction at novel length and you don't yet have a strong enough presence on other retailers, then KDP Select is definitely worth trying out, at least for 90 days, to see if it can help you build momentum. But go in knowing that it is a renewable commitment, and make an active decision to renew. Don't just let it automatically roll over time after time. Alright, let's talk about money. Amazon offers you a 70% royalty rate on ebooks priced between $2.99 and $9.99. Outside that range, it drops to 35%. That gap between 70% and 35% is often called the royalty cliff, and it has a pretty significant impact on how you may choose to price your book. So unless you have a specific reason to price yourself outside of that window, choosing a price between $2.99 and $9.99 is really the way to go. But where in that range? It really depends on your genre, your page count, and where you are in your career. If you think of it, a debut independently published novel sitting alongside traditionally published books in the same category probably shouldn't be priced at $9.99. At that point, you're competing on price with authors with a big marketing juggernaut behind them. Something in the $3.99 to $5.99 range is often the sweet spot for debut fiction. Non-fiction typically can sit a little bit higher. If you're publishing the first book in a series and you've already got the sequels lined up, there's a strategy worth knowing, and that's pricing your first book even lower, perhaps even 99 cents, in order to drive readers into that series, and then pricing subsequent books a little higher. You're accepting a lower margin on that first book in exchange for building an audience who will then buy your subsequent books at full price. It's a loss leader approach, and it works particularly well when a series is complete or nearly complete. And one thing to note, Amazon will automatically calculate pricing for international marketplaces based on that US price you chose. I'd recommend overriding these manually, at least to round them up to clean numbers. £2.29 reads better than £2.22. It's a small thing, but psychologically it really matters. Before you hit publish, click back through those 3 tabs and double check everything. Not because Amazon makes it impossible to fix the mistakes after the fact, but because these changes take time to go live and you want your book to be right from day one and to avoid any sort of delays. If everything looks good, just click publish your Kindle ebook or submit for pre-order if you've set a launch date. Your book will appear on Amazon within 72 hours, sometime sooner. However, country-specific stores like amazon.co.uk can take up to 5 days. And that's it! You've published an ebook. If you want to publish a paperback too, and you should because it expands your audience and can cost nothing extra, the process is similar but with a few key differences. If you're looking to do everything through Amazon, they offer a print-on-demand option where they will print off individual copies as and when they're purchased by your readers. You can use an external printer and still sell through Amazon, but for the sake of simplicity, let's just keep it all KDP. For this, you'll need a print-ready PDF of your manuscript rather than an EPUB. This is something where the content of each page is fixed, as it will be when it gets printed out. Again, this is something that you can create through Reedsy Studio for free. Then you'll need to upload a full cover file that also includes the spine and the back cover. Amazon provides templates based on your page count, trim size, and the thickness of the paper stock you choose. If it's a trade paperback format, I recommend using a cream stock, as that's what's standard in publishing. Then you'll be asked to choose your price. Your conundrum here is to pick a price that readers will be willing to pay without going so low that you're barely making a profit once the printing costs and Amazon's cuts are deducted. KDP has a printing cost calculator that is genuinely useful. It'll show you your royalty rate at different price points, and once that's done, you can go through their previewing tool to make sure that your cover and the body matter of the book is all within acceptable margins. You can even order a proof copy to be delivered to your home so you can see what readers will receive. And that is self-publishing on Amazon. I want to leave you with one thing that I think matters the most, practically speaking. The act of uploading a book is not the same as launching it. Getting your files all loaded up to Amazon is just the beginning of the process, not the end of it. All the decisions you'll make along the way, from keywords and categories to pricing to whether you choose to go with KDP Select, those are the things that will determine whether your book gets found. If you want expert help with any part of this, whether that's cover design and formatting or figuring out your launch and marketing strategy, Reedsy's marketplace is where you can find professionals who have helped hundreds of self-publishing authors find success. All the links are in the description below. Sign up for your free account today. Okay, if you've enjoyed this, remember to like the video and smash the subscribe button. I've been Martin from Reedsy, and I'll see you on the virtual shelves.